Hey, so I'm giving a shout out to Master Jerry Fast Feet Fontanez. Um, Let me see, how can I start? Uh, Fontanez and I go back a long time. As back as our club days where we initially met. I used to work as a bouncer way back when at a club called Nels. And I remember him coming out and all the guys talking about this guy, Jerry Fontanez, fast feet, world champion, and he was a phenomenal martial artist. But obviously, I didn't really. I was already a Taekwondo black belt. I was a Ninjutsu black belt before I met him. But I introduced myself to him one night next to the bar, and I said, "So I heard you're a martial artist," and I don't know if he remembers this, but. I said, yeah, so show me a kick. And the night was starting, it wasn't crowded. And he asked one of his students to throw a kick. And the kid, I have to say, it was a young fella, threw a beautiful side kick. The chamber was just amazing, it was beautiful. It's the best side kick I've seen. And the way he recoiled and he had all that control. I said, wow, it was very impressive. Nonetheless, I told him I just opened up a school. I had a club going on in the area where I lived. And, I invited him over, not knowing if he would come or not. And surprisingly, he came. To my surprise, he came, and I was honored. He sat there, he saw my class, and I had about 15 students. I literally just opened, not even a month. And I was able to acquire 15 students. I remember at the end of my teaching, of my class, he pulls me aside and he goes, he made me an instant proposition. He's like, hey, listen, I know your school is called Best of the Best Taekwondo. Best of the Best Taekwondo. But if you have any intentions of really wanting to be successful, I'd like to give you a proposition. And the proposition was that I'd be a part of his organization. And, obviously 1 and 1 plus 2 equals 2, it was a done deal. When I found out more about him, I started investigating more before I invested. 5-time world karate champion at the time. He already had 5 martial arts schools throughout the tri-state area. Me joining his organization would be the 6th one, the 6th location in Queens, in fact. There were 2 in Queens, 2 in the Bronx, 1 in Brooklyn, 1 in Manhattan. So, this was something that I felt like at the time was a good thing, wasn't a bad thing. And he was also a Taekwondo black belt, so the transition wouldn't have been hard, I felt, but welcoming. And so I'm glad I did, because I was able to go from 15 students and literally in 1 month, 1 month later, using his marketing sense. Like, the guy is he's a phenom when it comes up to like marketing and the martial art world, the business, and just inspiring. Like, this is why I made the decision, because we hit it off. I was so encouraged by him. He always spoke life into me, and that's his gift. He has the ability to speak life into people. And I really appreciate that. And his system was based on that entirely, with all positive affirmations and just really building people up. And that was definitely something I wanted to be a part of, and I'm glad I did. Because from 15 students, as I mentioned, I went to 60, using his marketing strategies and all, and 60 students I acquired in just the following month. And it was great. I was making money. I had a couple of jobs at the time, but I committed to want to actually be a full-time martial artist, all because of the results that I was getting. And that's what changed my life. And we became very good friends. We would go out and drive to seminars, affirmational seminars, Tony Robbins seminars, Les Brown seminars. We drove out to Canada a couple of times, done some crazy things in Canada too. We've made history, good history. But when the time came of me moving out to Germany, another amazing thing that happened in my life through Fontanez Karate, I was actually able to learn German, believe that I could learn German, and then also teach in German the Fontanez Karate system that I had learned throughout the time that I was with him. And it was a system that worked, and I proved it. Going out to another country, living in another country and speaking another language, that the system worked. So, yeah, man, he's been a great inspiration in my life. You know, he's been a great role model. I've learned a lot from him through his victories, through his mistakes, as we all. No one's perfect. You know, the good thing is that we don't stop. You know, and that's one thing about him. He doesn't stop. He keeps pushing forward. It's my philosophy as well. I believe in always pushing forward, regardless of whatever results, and whoever says whatever they want to say, because everybody has something to say. But the goal, and one of the great things that I learned about from him, rather, is to not let that worry you and just, you know, push forward. You know, so I'm very grateful to him for that. You know, even to this day, there are things that I learned from way back when that I apply because it's something. There are methods that should never die. You know, I'm a 4-time black belt. I just acquired my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I love martial arts. I've competed in everything, MMA, the whole spiel, kickboxing, boxing, the whole thing. You know, and I love it. You know, but the one thing that martial arts, and that's one thing that Master Jerry Fontanez understands, is that you can't forget where things come from. You know, you got to stick to the origin of things. You know, and being a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in this world, you know, I have my opinion about how things are done, but I'm a traditionalist, you know, and there's a reason why I have my black belts. And I hold people like Jerry Fontanez to high esteem because regardless of what, you got to stick to what things are. And you can't forget, regardless if you're trying to be innovative and you're trying to go with a new way, you know, you got to always go back to the core. And so therefore, I'm very grateful that I acquired that knowledge from him and the many other people that have taught me throughout the martial arts. So he's a great man, great guy, awesome father to his kids. I love seeing that online. That's one thing that I love about him. You know, he's definitely always been a family guy in that sense, and his children has always been a very important factor in his life, as well as his businesses. You know, so he's a great guy. I definitely recommend anyone to be a part of whatever he's doing. Yeah, man, he won't steer you wrong. All right, take care. Us.